welcome to the Business Matchmaker TV channel. Today, it's exciting. We're starting the roundtable. And this has really come about because I wanted an opportunity for entrepreneurs and business leaders to gather around a table, albeit a virtual one at present, but we wanted to take part in a collaborative discussion and just share some of the knowledge and what we do in business and why we're so successful. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce my first guest today, Sugra. Sugra is a serial entrepreneur who runs two businesses within the beauty industry. Sugra, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Thank you so much, Payal. Of course, yeah. So I'm Sugra, and as Payal said, I've got a couple of businesses. My main one really right now is Amira Consulting. So this is a training company. We train existing beauty and spa professionals and people who want to go into the industry as well.
Perfect. And thank you. And thank you for joining us today. My next guest is Barbara Armstrong. What can I say? Author, business consultant, a coach, a facilitator, a speaker, and somebody I very much look up to in business. Barbara, welcome today. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you so much, Payal. I really look up to you as well. I think it's a mutual appreciation. You kind of said it all of the things that I do. I've been around a long time, and I think that when you have been around a long time in business, you pick up all sorts of skills. So I like to use my skills to help other business owners and business leaders. And those are the ways that I do it. I do it by consulting, by coaching people, by doing training programs, a whole range of different things.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And last but definitely not least, Mandy Noss. Mandy is a pioneer independent cabbie stylist in the UK. And some might not know, but a former life of advertising, marketing and product sourcing for some very well-known brands. So Mandy, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I'd love to. Hi, everybody. My name's Mandy Noss. And as Payal said, I'm an independent personal stylist representing a US women wears brand called Cabbie. I primarily work with women on either a one-to-one basis or with their friends gathered together to help them find their own unique style. And it's through something that I call a fashion experience, or we call a fashion experience. And from this, I create people's own unique wardrobe.
Wonderful. And I know you've helped me on so many levels. So thank you for that. So today's theme, each roundtable will have a theme. And today's theme is about success in lockdown. Now, for many, success has been maybe just getting through the day. And we fully appreciate that. It could be managing the children, homeschooling, getting on with work, or actually coming to the realization that you've been furloughed and what do you do? There's so many levels to it. But today we're going to talk to our entrepreneurs about how they've adapted their business. And in my eyes, they've certainly been a success, and they've been able to transform their business and take it to the next level. So Mandy, would you like to start? Could you name one important change that you've made in your business that has allowed you to continue to grow and remain visible?
Absolutely. Turning what is a physical experience into an equally powerful virtual experience, which I think comes from a reframing mindset.
Right. And how have you adapted that? So, you know, we would come to your house or you would come to ours. We would have when we could meet it. A one-to-one
session where I get to know somebody personally, and identify their lifestyle, their body shape, all sorts of things. And what I've been able to do, which I really didn't think I was going to be able to do, is do that virtually. So having time with people where I get to know them, because I've done it with a lot of new clients too, which has been the surprise for me. And worked with them, identified their lifestyle, and created their unique wardrobe based on getting to know them, fundamentally what I do is built on relationship. And whilst it's not the same with somebody where you are face to face and you can see their body shape, you just have to ask slightly different questions. But it's worked and I have been amazed.
And you've been very busy, haven't you? And I think the beautiful thing is, how do you feel, or why do you feel it's worked so well, moving it onto an online platform? Because as you say, it's about learning about us, your client, about the body shape, what we like, our lifestyle.
Yeah, I think to answer it honestly, when we first went down into lockdown, I was very much of the opinion that my business would not grow during this time. And that what I would do is continue to gather women together for community and being together. And we would just have great time with no pressure of any sort, but just somewhere where people could come together and not feel the pressure of what was going on in the outside world. And what I realized very quickly was actually women wanted that. They wanted to gather. They wanted to be together. They wanted something to distract them from what was going on. And so the business sort of evolved through that time because we just came together for community. And then once we gathered for community, out of that, people then started coming to me either on a one-to-one basis or then saying, oh, I'd like to bring my friends. So what it ended up doing for me personally was sharing what I do across the UK in this virtual platform, rather than it being contained to the Midlands or me getting in the car and driving 4 or 5 hours somewhere. So it really, I think, was around it becoming a community reason to come together, rather than it being people necessarily in the first instance coming to me for a cabby gathering.
Yeah. I think the beautiful thing has been that you've been able to bring families together as well, because, you know, we might have an aunt who lives up in Scotland or somebody down in Cornwall, and they've not been able to gather together. And now you've been able to offer an experience that is very easy.
Right. You're so right. And that has happened within families where all the women have come together, and they have said they wouldn't have done that in the physical world. It wouldn't have happened. But actually, it was something they loved it so much. It was just an ability for them to be together. And in the outset of this, people were doing pop quizzes or some kind of quiz, getting together on Zoom, doing this, doing that. But everybody got quizzed out. You know, they didn't want to do that anymore. They wanted to find some other reason to be together. And this experience was something that brought them together. They loved it. They were with their family or their best friends. And you're right, I had groups of people where somebody was in Edinburgh, somebody was down in Bognor Regis, somebody was in Oxfordshire, and the main person who organised it was in Leicestershire. So yeah, that has really enabled me to share what I do with so many more people.
And it's sharing that passion, isn't it? Which, and in a comfortable space as well.
Yes.
You're still sharing things.
And I do think that actually doing it virtually, people aren't frightened to come because there's no pressure on them. You know, they're coming, they're seeing what's going on. It's making them feel very comfortable in the environment. You know, they're with their friends, but they're not actually stepping over the threshold of somebody's door.
Yeah. And they might not feel any pressure, as you say, to be buying, and that just comes naturally though. When they like the products, they like yourself, they like the host, it just comes naturally. So would you like to add anything? Because, you know, you in the beauty industry, it's very hands-on. You need to see your clients as well. So I've really enjoyed hearing your story of how you've adapted. Would you like to share and maybe comment on what Mandy has said as well?
Yeah, I think one thing is that we've all got out of our comfort zones. So as much as we're trying to invite other people to do something different and approach business or buying differently, we've had to get out of our comfort zones to be able to present that, because we wanted to do it professionally. You know, we didn't want to do a shoddy job of it and think, okay, I'm just adapting for a bit. For me, it was thinking about, okay, whatever I do now, whatever I take the time to produce, design, it's got to take me through longer term. So there's got to be a reason for doing it. Not, okay, I'm going to do this and it's just going to last for 3 or 4 months and then I'll go back to normal, because it's allowed everybody to look at their business differently longer term. And for me, the big change really has been that I decided to focus on who I was talking to. So yes, we have the training business, but training wise, I'm not able to offer any hands-on training. Of course, I can do virtual training. My therapy side is a really tiny part of my business. I just have a few, I guess, like VIP clients who've been with me for years. It's not a business I was growing. But with the product side, so the product platform that I work with as part of my consulting business, that was a business that was open to anybody who was entrepreneurial. But I thought, you know, what's happened? Beauty salons have closed. Let me just focus on talking to beauty salon owners about how are you going to solidify your business for the future? Because the things that I've discovered through my consulting work is, let's say a beauty salon owner has 100 regular clients. 15 of her clients buy retail from her. The rest go online to buy their products. And I thought, what a shame, you know, that they're not generating a massive amount of their revenue through retail. It's on average about 5% of their revenue. So I thought, I'm going to start speaking to these people. And it's something that I'd wanted to do for a long time. I just hadn't got the space in my head to do it. And I thought, right, let me start doing that. And because we started doing it online, we were getting salon owners and beauty business owners on our calls from America, South Africa, the Philippines, but the UK. But what the effect it's had, which I never expected, a lot of the salon owners have said, right, we're using this platform, we've started retailing. I've generated the same amount of revenue retailing online than I did spending a month in my salon. And I've decided I'm going to build this and I'm going to go back to my salon part-time in September. And it's changed the whole way that they live their life. So that's been the real reward from it, from me deciding to niche and talk to beauty professionals specifically, because people go online and they buy and they are not looking to buy from an expert. They're looking for something to solve a problem. So my opinion is, if you're an expert, of course, you should be selling your expertise online, because other people are who are not experts, because that's the way that the world has changed. Online, skincare, all of that. So it's had a lot of surprises in there for me as well.
I think you're very right, though, about coming out of your comfort zone. Certainly, and having the headspace now to create what you've created. It's something that you've wanted to do for a while. How important do you think timing is for everything?
Timing is essential. I'm a big believer of that. So timing is everything. You know, you can put an opportunity in front of somebody every day for a year, but until the time is right, they will not do anything with it. So I always say to people, I'll bring the business platform, I'll bring the training, and you have to bring the motivation and the desire, because without an individual being in the right place at the right time, then that thing is not going to get moving and it's not going to progress. So timing is massive. A lot of people looked at this as, you know, it's been quite sad to see that probably 80% of people in the beauty industry have just sat and waited to be told when they can get moving again. Whereas the 20% that have thought, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to revamp how I do things and not be this person that's indispensable to my bricks and mortar business, those people have succeeded. So it's really revealed people as well.
Yeah, I think you're so right on that. And I think that actually translates into the bigger business community as well. There's a lot of people that have sadly just sat back and they're just waiting. Would you like to add anything to that? Because I'm sure you work with a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, and how you've helped support people maybe similar to Sugra, but in different industries, how they've sort of adapted and come out of what is a very difficult situation.
Yes, it is. A lot of what Sugra has been saying, really, which is about pivoting, you know, that's one of the things that I've been focusing on, is you get people in different camps and at different stages. So some of them aren't necessarily just kind of waiting. They feel stuck. They feel unclear and unsure about what to do and how to do it. And listening to everybody kind of just going, well, you just do this or you just do that. People going, I understand the words you're saying, but I haven't got a clue how to get from where I am now to where I could potentially be. And that's where I've been focusing my support with businesses since lockdown started, because so many people have come to me and just kind of said, from the beginning of lockdown, where it was just, oh my God, isn't this awful? And what on earth are we going to do? To, right, I'm sick of sitting around now and not doing anything, to, right, I want to do something, but I just don't know how to do that something. And talking to people that have been going through that, it's almost like grief cycle of Kubler-Ross, isn't it? But people that have been going through that then got to the stage where they're ready to do something. That's where people have been coming to me and saying, well, what should I do? What could I do? What are my options? Because everybody thinks that there is only one option for them. And I know we've been talking a lot about going online, but not every business, that's not the solution for every single business. So trying to get people to think outside of that, all right, you know, you get a Zoom account and suddenly everything's okay. There's a lot more to the options that are available than that. So everything that both Mandy and Sugra have said, absolutely 100% agree with, that's so much of the experience I've been hearing. But I've been focusing on, well, how do we now widen our field of vision to have a look at what else we can do, where else we can go, how else we can plan forward? Because instead of feeling impotent at this time, as if we are just waiting and there is nothing we can do and there are no options, for me, it's the time for innovation. It's what Sugra and Mandy have both said. It's the time to say, right, this is what I do. This is the problem I solve. This is how I've done it up until now. Are there other ways to do it? And also people have been doing things like just taking their skills and doing something completely different, but still meeting a customer need. So there's been all kinds of experiences that people have been sharing over this time. And sadly, for some people, it's sort of too big a leap to make, and then making some decisions. But at least they're making informed decisions that maybe enough is enough for them right now, and they don't really want to continue with their businesses. Whereas other people have said, right, I'm either going to pivot and do something completely different, or I'm going to look at how I can keep doing what I do, but in a slightly different way or with a different customer or whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it is a very innovative time at the minute.
Yeah.
It's almost exciting, if we're allowed to say that.
I know.
Whilst we do totally understand that side,
I think it's really fascinating watching how some of the entrepreneurs are converting their businesses into something completely new. And it's like people who have been, you know, a gin distillery, and they're now making hand sanitizer, and even more people than they were. You know, manufacturers who have turned their business from one business into manufacturing something completely different, but needed right now. And it's all about, for me, it's all about a mindset. You know, we can sometimes become so tunnel visioned, can't we, around what we do, and this is it, and I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. But actually, if you just open that out a little bit and look at the situation we're in, what can we do with the skills that we have, whether it's manufacturing or service industry, you know, whichever, you can find something. And you're right. Right here, right now is the time that we'll see some amazing innovation out of this.
And we're starting to see them now as well, Mandy. And I think what you're saying as well, just there, it's so important to support people through that grief process of, you know, it's taken them forever to get to this stage in developing their business. It was going well, you know, they've given it their all, it's their baby. And all of a sudden they've got to think completely differently. Well, everybody does that at a different pace, at a different stage of readiness. And I think it's about knowing how to support people at that stage, and for people not to feel ashamed that they need support. You know, no matter how experienced we are in business, we all need some kind of support at some point. And it's not that we don't know at all what to do, but whoever we are, we need other people around us that can just give us the right advice. You know, like Sugar was saying about the beauticians that she's working with, they never thought about their revenue generation until Sugar had that conversation with them, and then it opens something in their thinking. I think we all need a little bit of that.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Thank you. And I think what's a really valid point, Sugar, as well, that you made was, it's not about the short term. This has got to succeed once we come out of lockdown. And the businesses that are looking at a short-term strategy. So I know, Mandy, you mentioned the gin company that have converted into hand sanitizers, and they've made more money out of that. I wonder what their forward-thinking plan is are they going to stay as hand sanitizer, or would they make that a secondary business, get some more equipment and machinery in to still distill the gin? You know, to me, that's quite exciting to hear, you know, and I love hearing success stories. I think it's one of the things that drives us. And, you know, talking about the grief, Barbara, we've talked to a lot of businesses from various sizes where everybody's gone through that process, and it's been very much like this. Very much a wave of one day you're okay, and the next day suddenly, oh my gosh, I could lose everything that I've ever worked for. And entrepreneurs are people who are self-employed. This has been years of building up. This is all of our expertise. Certainly for me, one of the drives was I'm not prepared to lose my business over this. So I'm going to adapt. I've put too many hours and I love what I do. And I don't want to do anything else. I want to stay employed, in control of my own destiny and journey. So there's lots of factors that come into it and the reasonings why people do this. So I know, Barbara, you've adapted as well. You've taken a course online. How have you found that?
I'm still in a learning curve, I would say, because I'm sure that some things that Mandy was saying are really resonating with me. That it's not that my business is necessarily a face-to-face business, but it's definitely a people business. And for me, I like being with people and I like doing things face to face. So while it's been in my head for a lot longer, but actually probably about 4 or 5 years, to pivot and do some of my stuff online, I've always gone, I'll get round to it. But what this has done, being in lockdown has forced me to do something that I know I should have done a long time ago. And it gives me opportunity to reach much further. Again, I keep quoting Mandy and Sugar. You know, now talking to people in the States and Australia and all of this that I could never have done continuing the way that I was, but just still wanting to have my cake and eat it, to have the presence of people, but also to have that wider reach with what I do. But yeah, it's an interesting time. So I think I'm still in a learning curve on it, but it's definitely starting to work. You can reach so many more people when you do things like pivot online.
Definitely. I think one of the things that's happened, Payal, is that some people have perceived it as, right, this pandemic has happened and it's a spanner in the works. So I'm just going to hang on, and I want to wait for things to get back to normal.
And I keep telling people not to.
We're creating this thing of, right, there's going to be a new normal. But I think what's happened, and this is my approach, is that these changes were going to happen anyway, where life and society and business was going to evolve. We've almost been catapulted or thrown into the future very quickly. So it's happened over a very condensed period of time. These things were going to happen anyway. Shopping was going to go online. Courses were going to go online. These industries were going to increase and grow. But it's a really good way to look at it so that you can accept it and adapt, and then adapt yourself for the longer term future, rather than, okay, I'll just wait for this to be over, then I'll try to go back to how things normally were, because that's not the reason for this. We've been thrown into the future, and I like to look at it like that.
I love that description, Sugar.
So true.
I do think so, very right. Yeah, it's very true. We have been thrown into it, and I think as business owners and in our personal lives, it was losing that element of control. Do you not feel that, you know, we had full diaries planned and sorry, on Monday, it's all cancelled. You're not going anywhere. The ability to not pick up maybe your car keys or walk out the door and say, I'm going for a meeting, or I'm going to a networking event, whatever you were doing. Certainly that ability to go outside of your four walls has gone. It was very much, we'd lost that control. And I think certainly within this group today, that we have people that control their own diaries, and they're used to controlling what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. It's all having that choice. That's why we do what we do. And that choice was removed very, very quickly. So when we talk, Sugar, it's a very good point again. What would you say is now the vision for the future of your brand, because it's not about a short term. You're not looking at helping salon owners for 2 to 3 months, or I don't even know when we're going to come out of this, if I'm being honest with you. But this has got to work long term. And I think what's great hearing you speak is the realization for some business owners that we've sold more online than we've done in our salons. So, you know, are we looking at big overheads? I think the whole business landscape is going to change, where there's a lot of businesses. And, you know, for example, Twitter was one of the first to say, right, everybody can work from home. You're being given that choice. Square have done exactly the same, where I think we're not going to be seeing so many big high-rise office blocks, maybe. Yeah. There's going to be flexible working offered. So what's the future of your brand, and where do you see it going?
So a couple of areas really. So from the training perspective, what's been interesting is actually having a traditional training business and then having a network marketing business that I combine together. I've learned so many things from network marketing that I've taken into my training business. And one has been to duplicate myself. So if I'm available for training in Derby and I can travel around, actually, there are amazing trainers around the country who are running businesses, but maybe they would like to do some training on the side, and they've got this expertise because they already run a beauty business. So they're so well placed to go to be in Manchester or London or Birmingham or North Wales. So I've selected these people who actually they're going to offer the same training that I offer, but it means I don't need to drive around the country because I did all of that before. But it's giving them an opportunity and an extra leg to their business. So I've identified people who, right, add this onto your business as another revenue stream in addition to what you're already doing. So that's been a great thing to do. And then we've also said, okay, there's a lot of stuff that we teach face to face that could all be done via webinar. But what we'll focus on when we meet people is we'll focus on the hands-on skills so that we spend as much time as possible on the practical, because they can go online and learn the consultation, the skin analysis, and actually that could be available for them all the time, and they can revise it and they can revisit it. And then from the product platform side, it's what's been crucial is looking at, okay, how many people can I help and in which parts of the world can I help people? And instead of limiting myself, I've decided, you know, I can help thousands of beauty business owners with this because people are going to stop buying products. I've had salon owners who said, my client needed a product. She'd had a treatment. It was there on my shelf, but she wanted to go home and look online and buy it. How crazy is that? So it's showing beauty business owners that you don't need to cripple yourself with stock. You don't need to have a massive outlay. Work in a way where actually you're in profit. Beauty businesses take a long time to go into profit. And often the hourly rate that the owner takes home is, you know, sometimes it's not worth mentioning. It's quite heartbreaking. So it's showing as many people as possible that actually you can be profitable, and you can be profitable quite quickly. It doesn't have to take a long time. And that as an industry, you don't need to be in competition with the salon up the road. If you're the salon down the road, there are ways that you can work together, and you should be sharing your expertise and good practice. And there's that bit of a culture in the beauty industry. So we're showing that we're collaborating as people who work with this platform. You can do the same, and you can share your expertise. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's been really exciting. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and you're so right. Really, it's collaboration, not competition. Yeah. We can learn so much from each other, and there is enough to go around. Do you know? There is absolutely enough. So, Mandy, what's the vision for the future of?
Well, I think you know, as beautifully, eloquently said by my fellow panelists here, you know, that we have been thrust into the future. And, you know, virtual was always going to become part of what we do. And we're just having to do it so much sooner and adapt to it. So virtual for me will become another pillar of my business. It allows me to share what I do to a far wider audience. Oh, my goodness, you will never stop me doing a physical gathering of women where I'm there and do what I do best. you know, that will never, ever go away. For as long as I am a personal stylist, I will be doing that. But it allows me to do what I do for a wider audience. And so it will always be part of that. And Sukra, you're so right about the collaboration thing. And that's something that I love about the cabbie business, particularly. You know, I've got fellow stylists in groups that we all know so well, and we work together. There is no competition, because what is it that people buy into? They buy into a person, they buy into you. You know, that's the one thing about all of us. You know, what is unique about our businesses? It's us. You know, it's
exactly.
us. And that's what people buy into, you know, and I feel so passionate about that, because you can all collaborate together and make, you know, as women, we work so well when we're together. When you're with the right group of women, oh gosh, we are unstoppable, aren't we?
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. 200% agree, Mandy.
Definitely. Thank you, Mandy. And it's right. It's another pivot to your business. And I think it's going to be and remain very successful.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Barbara, would you like to share your vision? The future of your brand?
The future of my brand is definitely, well, it's already here, and I'm focusing a lot more on really the same thing as Sugar, which is helping those businesses that do think, look, I want to continue, I might have to do things differently, and I want to know how I can do that successfully. So that's the future for me. And I don't think it's a short-term thing at all. There's always been change for business, but now that change has just exponentially increased in terms of timescales. Everything is changing very, very rapidly. And that was the case, but I think it's going to be more the case in the future as we go forward. So all of the expertise that I've built up over the years in both starting and running my own businesses, helping other businesses, I'm really packaging that into, right, if you want to move from here to there, let's look at how we can do that and explore it. And I'm trying to use online in a much more, the word is collaborative way, where not everything I do is pre-recorded and you just buy something and download it. That's all good, and I'm not being critical of it. But I think losing that element like we're doing now, where you can see people and talk to them and exchange views, is a really important part of collaborating to grow and move your business forward. So that's the difference that it is for me and my vision for the future, that I will use technology in the same way that I would have used a physical event. I won't just send people pre-recorded things and say, watch that. I want people to ask me and challenge me and look at me and go, yes, but, and what if, and I'm right there with them going through and addressing those things. So the vision for me is continue what I do, but make sure that it's focused on the needs of my clients, and make sure that I make the best of technology to meet those needs. And that means opening up to people all over the world, really. So world domination, that's my vision for the future.
I love it. Absolutely love
Sugar, it. We need to get together, girl. Definitely.
I love world domination.
We've not met before, so thank you for introducing us.
No, I think what's really crucial, isn't it? Technology is just another tool, isn't it, that we need to embrace and use, and very much so, like all my guests today. Yes, I can't wait to meet people again in real life, because that's what I do as well as my other side of my life is about meeting people and connecting people. And I love that one-to-one and having that connection with people and seeing where we can support people and help people and move them forward. But technology's always been a tool, and I think we don't lose sight of that, because one day we will be allowed to meet again. Yes. Hopefully.
One day.
We will.
We're covered head to toe in some kind of protective gear. I don't know.
And everything else. But maybe, Mandy, we could have some advice on how to look good.
How to look good in PPE. That's your next pivot,
You
Mandy.
always wear your lipstick and you always put your perfume on, no matter what.
Okay.
Well, I have to tell you this. My husband said to me the other day, you know, I was just getting dressed and been working from home for months. And he went, have you got perfume on? And I went, yeah, I put perfume on every day. And but you're at home. So?
Exactly right.
I put my perfume on every day, regardless.
I do.
Mandy.
This is for me.
I think that's so right, though, because you've got to feel like you've gone into that space as well, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
You're ready to work, and you never know. You know, we can smell perfume. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's really nice.
Oh, lady, thank you so much. I don't even know where the time's gone.
I know.
Been inspiring. It's been knowledgeable. I've loved hearing the stories about the business growth as well, and long may it continue. I think to be surrounded by like-minded businesswomen who really understand and are so forward-thinking, it's an honor. So thank you so much. Listeners and viewers, I hope you've enjoyed it too. You can find out more about my guests if you log on to www.businessmatchmaker.tv. Their bios are there, links to their websites and their social media channels. It's definitely worth connecting. Thank you so much to my guests today, to Sugra, to Mandy, and to Barbara. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to see how the business evolves. Let's do this again, I think, very soon. I think we should have an update, maybe. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.